This might be the most famous front page in Australian history. It's a gem from the NT News, Why I Stuck a Cracker in My Clacker. This story tells the tale of a man who got burns because he put a firework up his bum to impress his mates who were visiting. The NT News is famous for its bold headlines, but Cracker in My Clacker is one that people just loved. It was on ABC Media Watch, it was put in the museum, and media outlets even covered the 5-year anniversary. And not only that, the deputy editor who wrote that headline won Australia's most prestigious award for journalism, the Walkley. For real. This wasn't the only incident of this nature. Okay, I got this. Why I stuck a bunger in my bunghole. But this wasn't the only incident of this nature. Another front page story was Why I Stuck a Bunger in My Bunghole, and I love this subheading, Oh no, it's happened again. And to finish out the Cracker trilogy was Why I've Got a Banger on My Wanger. So something is clearly going on. I've travelled here to the NT for this special day. It's the only place in Australia where fireworks are legal, and it's for just 5 hours per year. Here's the strange story, the history, the laws, and the outback spirit that led to this chaos. Broadly, fireworks are considered explosives in Australia, and they're regulated the same as any other kind of explosive. It means you need a license to buy them and to use them. So generally, they're not available to the public. So it's not that fireworks are banned totally. In fact, any news report about New Year's Eve is probably going to have a shot like this. So the public can't access them, except for this week. This restriction's been in place for decades. They were banned in the 1970s in Queensland, in Victoria they were restricted and later banned fully in 1982, and all the states in Australia did the same. But they're not banned here, partly because this isn't a state. Australia has 2 territories, the Northern Territory and the ACT, who have different laws. Now, fireworks were available for sale in the ACT up until 2009. So why are fireworks banned? Well, it's broadly due to safety and the fire hazard. Now, part of the advocacy for this legal change came from the Royal Australian College of Ophthalmologists and the Australian and New Zealand Burns Association. When Canberra banned them, they also spoke about the impact on pets and animals because dogs don't like fireworks very much. And as we've seen in the paper, it is true they can cause some trouble. In fact, in the local paper, the NT News this week, there was an article about safety and it opened with warning against putting a cracker in your clacker. One of the issues of fireworks is obviously the fire risk, and this warning indicator shows how much of a concern this is. This is the fire danger sign, and even the lower setting is only considered low to moderate. From there, every other setting goes from high all the way up to catastrophic, and in other states, such as Victoria, there's one step further, which is code red. Fortunately, the fire danger this week is rated low to moderate. To understand what's going on, we need to know more about the Northern Territory. When Australia was federated and became a nation in 1901, the Northern Territory was given to the Commonwealth government, and it was administered nationally. That meant, unlike the states of Australia, it didn't have its own local government. In the 1940s, there was some progress in creating a legislature, but over half the members were still appointed by the federal government rather than being elected locally. And the council could still be vetoed by the federal government and didn't really have authority over things like financial matters. In 1974, the then Prime Minister, Gough Whitlam, brought around change, and they announced that the NT would be getting its self-government. This happened a few years later on the 1st of July 1978. Now this date is significant because it's become known as Territory Day, and that is what's happening here. Basically, this change meant the NT would govern itself and it would operate like the other states, with the ability to set its own law. And that was a big deal. It was a big deal at the time and it still is today. So clearly fireworks laws weren't the first order of business, and they've remained legal since then, although they have become more regulated. And here's how it works. Fireworks are covered by the Dangerous Goods Acts and regulations. So smaller fireworks are available to the public, but only at approved times by the government. And there's been a tradition for decades known as Cracker Night. Now this used to be held on Guy Fawkes Day, but it was decided by the NT Parliament that the date was inappropriate.
Remember the 5th of November.
Because it was based on an old English custom and not celebrated in any other state of Australia. So that date's been moved to Territory Day. And here's what the government rules are. As you can see, fireworks are able to be sold for 12 hours, but their use is restricted from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m, just 5 hours. Now there are 96 places across the territory where you can buy fireworks, and you can imagine the challenge of being a business where you've got to sell everything in just a 1-day window. And even more so, this is the first time in 3 years due to COVID that this event is happening. So I went to check it out. This is the Alice Springs Convention Centre, but today it's turned into a pop-up fireworks store. People have been lining up since 9 o'clock when they opened, have been buying huge boxes of fireworks. Bit of a party atmosphere in there. The local radio station is broadcasting. They've put on a free barbecue in a classic Australian way. And yeah, this is one of the places that Alice Springs is getting their fireworks. Another interesting thing to note is that it becomes illegal to even own the fireworks from midday on Monday the 4th of July. So any fireworks that aren't used in the night have to be handed into WorkSafe NT. So the question is, why does the NT do this? Now, becoming a Territorian does come with a spirit of independence, a bit of frontier spirit. Being a bit quirky, being a bit different is a point of pride. So that means that Territory Day and fireworks have become synonymous. People stock up and make a day of it. To get in on the fun, I headed to Territory Day celebrations in Alice Springs. This event had a carnival and show-like feel, there was musical performances and also some official fireworks. And I went off and let off some of my own fireworks, although my set was much smaller than some of the other people's out there. So here's to you, NT, have a fun Territory Day, and don't put a cracker up your clacker. I'm Julian O'Shea. As an Australian that travels a lot, there's a couple of problems that regularly come up that are solved by today's sponsor, Atlas VPN. Because depending where in the world you are, you might pay more for different products and services or have limited offerings on things like streaming services. Now, for those that don't know, a VPN is a virtual private network. That lets you set which country you want your internet traffic to come from. Because depending which country you're in, your Netflix library or similar will look very different. And I'm sure a lot of us have hit a video that says something like, "This video is not available in your country." You can solve this and more with Atlas VPN. It's cheap, and for a 3-year subscription, you can get it for just $1.99 a month with 3 months for free, and that comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. And the link is in the description. This is a real solution. In fact, an Australian government productivity report noted that geo-blocking results in Australians paying higher prices, often for a lesser or later service than consumers overseas. Well, with the VPN, regardless of where you are, you can fix that. I've used VPNs in countries where websites are blocked, and don't worry, Atlas VPN is incredibly easy to use. You don't need any technical skills to get started. So if you're interested, check it out in the link in the description below for a big discount, and thank you to Atlas VPN for sponsoring this video. This wasn't the only incident of this nature.